What do you think of the future of woke social justice warrior movements and the political divide in the U.S.? Well, the political divide in the U.S. has been shown, in studies that has become much, the gap has become bigger and bigger, right? So that's the thing that everybody can not just, feel like it's happening. We have data that shows that, right? And that's, that's a big issue. I don't know where it's going to head. So some people think like when you see a trend, that means that trend is going to continue, right? But a lot of times you have the law of return to the mean, right? So if it is just because something is moving in one direction, that like people are like, oh my God, we were here, the divide was here, and now the divide is here. So based on this trend, 50 years from now, the divide is going to be like here, right? But maybe not. Maybe because there's in mathematics, when the if you look at probability, if something gets to an extreme level, the likelihood is that it's gonna the next trend is for us to come back to a more normal, to a more average, whatever the trend was over the past, I don't know, 50 years, whatever the average of that is, maybe the likelihood is that it's going to now, because this is an extreme version of that, maybe the likelihood is that it's going to go back to an average level, which was a lot more normal, right? So, but again, this is like predicting things based on, when people come up with predictions like that, they ignore the fact that the number of factors that could move these trends are so high and so complicated and so unpredictable that coming up with a prediction is almost useless, right? Because here's the thing, like this political divide, right? How much of it, again, not all of it, but how much of it was influenced by Trump? Okay. And think about the Trump effect on this divide, and then think about who could have predicted, like, let's say 5 years before Trump was elected as president, 5 years before that, who could have predicted something like that happening, right? So given that something so unpredictable had such a major effect on political thought in the United States, I know that's not the only thing. There are many other factors, but that's one factor that has a huge influence. Given how unpredictable that is, then the only thing that you could be sure of is more unpredictable things that happens in the future. Okay, that's the only thing. So just think about another Trump-like effect, or another pandemic-like effect, or another 9/11 effect. These are things that nobody saw coming, and it shifted the direction of politics, foreign policy, internal policy, people's view on politics, people's views on each other. It shifted it in ways that nobody saw coming. So these things will happen again. So if you're like, oh, I see things moving in this way, well, what if you see another Trump? What if you see a left-leaning Trump? What if you see another, I don't know, global pandemic or something like that happening? What if you see like another attack that nobody saw coming? Like these are, you could be, the only thing you could be almost sure of is these things that just moves everyone's prediction into another direction, right? These things are gonna, like, you look at your model that you have for your prediction, and just know that this model is going to be thrown into a different direction from these one in lifetime events that's going to come at it. These rare events, it's going to happen every, I don't know, at least every 5 years. So what good is unless you come up with like bigger long-term, like decade predictions based on the way that science and technology is going, those you could like is easier to make. But making prediction of the direction of people's political thought in the next decade, it's next to impossible. So anybody that is giving you any prediction with certainty again, you should be wary of those people. You should be like, okay, this person is either ignorant or is not being honest with me. Okay, this, you should not be able to predict these things with this level of certainty. This is not a person I should be able to take seriously. And don't let them take their previous correct predictions as proof that their current predictions are going to be true. That's not how predictions work. Okay.
Hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.